Why did comedy movies disappear? Seriously, there was a period where comedy movies completely dominated pop culture. Everyone watched them, everyone quoted them. You couldn't go to school without hearing somebody yelling out the musical perfection that is Boats and Hoes from Step Brothers.
Nachos, lemon heads, my dad's boat. You won't go down cause my dick can float.
What was the last huge comedy movie that anybody talked about? I mean, I know that thing that happened about 6 years ago that we can't talk about in here, but I feel like it really messed with everyone's perception of time. And honestly, I can't remember the last big comedy movie that dominated pop culture. It feels like comedy's just up and vanished. The weirdest part is that nobody even noticed it happening. One day we had Superbad, The Hangover, 21 Jump Street, Tropic Thunder, Anchorman, Talladega Nights, and then suddenly Hollywood decided that every movie needed to either save the universe, emotionally devastate you, or be a remake. Even action movies used to be funnier. I think I actually know what killed comedy movies. It was the internet. Not completely, but I think it changed comedy itself. Back then, comedy lived at the movie theater. Now comedy lives everywhere. TikTok, YouTube, memes, podcasts, Instagram reels. You can open your phone and see hundreds of jokes and memes before lunch. A full-length feature can't compete with that speed anymore. When you consider that a comedy movie takes years to write, film, edit, market, and release, meanwhile, somebody online can make the funniest thing you've seen all week in 11 seconds. That changed everything. And attention spans only made it worse. Comedy movies used to slowly build jokes. Now, if something isn't funny immediately, people mentally leave and are checked out. Modern audiences have been trained by short-form content to expect a dopamine hit every 6 seconds. That's why older comedies feel so different now. You watch something like Office Space and there's actual conversations, character development, and build-up. Today's audiences see some slight downtime and are mentally starting to check out. And studios know this. That's why the few modern comedies in movies feel so safe and weirdly artificial. Every joke sounds like it went through 14 corporate meetings to make sure they weren't offending anyone. Every line feels pre-approved. When you compare it to older comedies, they felt reckless. That was part of the fun. It felt like actors were just saying insane things, off the cuff, improvising, and somehow it made the final cut. Comedy used to be allowed to fail, but likely due to revenue, politics, it just isn't really the best genre to play it safe. And safe comedy is not funny. Comedy needs risk, not playing it safe, not going with emotions. That's why movies like The Hangover worked. And honestly, streaming hurt comedy too. Comedy movies used to be events. You went to the theaters with friends, everyone laughed together. Comedy movies are inherently a social experience, especially at a movie theater. A joke hits harder in a room full of people having a good time. Now most comedies quietly appear on a streaming service at 2 a.m. next to 700 other movies that nobody watches. The algorithm just tosses it in the content graveyard, essentially. Speaking of, that's another problem. Nothing feels special when it comes to these comedy movies.
Ooh, that's a bingo.
Back then, a comedy movie leading up to the release felt exciting. Now, entertainment is infinite. Infinite entertainment sounds good until your brain realizes that none of it feels important anymore. You scroll Netflix for 20 minutes and somehow end up just opening up YouTube or some other app. Picking a movie feels like applying for jobs because after a while of searching, you just start lowering your standards dramatically. Older comedies lived in your brain for years. I mean, I quoted Anchorman for almost a decade.
60% of the time, it works every time.
Now, if a movie comes out Friday, by Tuesday, everyone's moved on to some AI video of a dog getting pulled over by the police. I feel like nowadays the world seems more tense, stressed out, anxious, and that kind of changes comedy in itself also. It's hard to make a goofy, carefree comedy when everyone feels mentally overstimulated 24 hours a day, especially with the current state of the world. And that's part of the reason absurd online humor exploded, I think. The internet itself became more entertaining than movies in a lot of cases. Every day online, you can witness a man cooking a steak in a dishwasher, someone eating thousands of calories, or checking if this will blend, if any of you guys remember that. Reality surpassed parody, and comedy movies can't keep up. The funniest people don't even go to Hollywood anymore. If you're hilarious online, you could just start a channel, build an audience, make content from your house, and become independently successful, and never have to ask a movie studio for permission. Back then, Hollywood controlled comedy careers, and now the internet does. That changed the talent pipeline completely. Some modern movies still try to be funny, and to be honest, they can be sometimes. A real comedy movie commits to full stupidity. That's why they worked. There's something beautiful about a movie whose entire premise is basically, what if two grown men behaved like complete idiots for 2 hours? And when it comes to comedy and turning your brain off for a couple hours, that's absolute cinema. And maybe audiences miss that more than studios realize, because people are exhausted now. Comedy movies used to feel like permission to be dumb for a while. That might be why people love them so much. For 2 hours, nobody had to improve themselves, worry about the future, or track habits. You just watch Will Ferrell scream like an absolute lunatic. And somehow you end up feeling lighter afterwards. Maybe comedy movies disappeared because culture changed. And on top of that, the internet changed humor permanently. Or maybe studios just stopped understanding what people actually want. But I do know this. People still want to laugh. That never disappeared. The way we consume comedy changed. The internet replaced comedy movies with an endless stream of smaller, faster jokes. And maybe that's more convenient, but I don't think it's better. Because the best comedy movies felt bigger than just jokes. They felt like moments. And unfortunately, we don't really get those anymore.